UN Security Council is expected to endorse a cessation of hostilities in Syria later on Friday. The U.S. and Russia brokered the deal, which is due to come into effect on Friday at midnight local time. All of the major warring parties in Syria are backing the agreement, but they've got their conditions, and there's a lot of doubt about whether the deal will hold or not. The deal excludes Daesh as well as al-Nusra Front. It applies to only 4 main groups within Syria. Let's take a look. The first is the Syrian regime, which backs the cessation, but says it will continue to fight what it considers terrorist groups. The main opposition group, the HNC, is also behind the agreement. It represents various rebel groups and says it will only commit for 2 weeks. And the YPG has agreed to the deal, but adds it will fight back if the deal is broken, as has Russia, which has military planes based inside of Syria. Now, outside of the country, there's also support for the deal from the U.S.-led coalition, although the coalition is mostly fighting Daesh. And then you have Turkey, which says it backs the cessation of hostilities, but won't be bound to it if its internal security is threatened. All right, Natasha Exelby is following the story from Ankara, and she joins me now live. Natasha, we've just heard from the Turkish president's spokesman in the last hour saying more about Ankara's position on the cessation. Take us through some of the key points.
Well, as you just outlined, Alijan, this is a very complex issue with many, many different parties involved. But essentially, the spokesman was further reiterating and using even stronger language than Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu did yesterday, saying that, yes, Turkey does support the cessation of hostilities, but if there's anything that's more important than that, then it is the Turkey's security. And so it is crossing all of its T's, dotting all of its I's to make sure that Turkey is safe, just in case any one of these parties does not stay true to their word on the cessation of hostilities. Here is more of what the spokesman had to say here in Ankara just a moment ago.
Biz prensip olarak bu ateşkesi destekliyoruz.
We support the cessation of hostilities in principle. Turkey has played an active role in taking this decision. However, when we look at the events during and after the Geneva talks, we see that Russian airstrikes and Assad forces' ground assaults continue. They continued even last night, on the day before the Munich Agreement is due to come into effect. We have serious concerns about what this means for the future of the cessation of hostilities.
So it's pretty clear from those remarks, Alijan, that Turkey is not messing around here, and they are taking possible threats very, very seriously. The spokesman also went on to say that they are using everything in their power in terms of international law to make sure that Turkey is safe, and the Turkish military can exercise its rights to defend itself if for some reason any one of those parties does not stay true to their word in the cessation of hostilities. Alijan, it's also worth noting, I was speaking to a member of the AK Party this morning here in Ankara, and he raised a very interesting point with me and said the civil war that's been going on in Syria, yes, it's been continuing for 5 years, but it's not just a civil war anymore. It is a world war. It has multiple superpowers involved, and it is, for Turkey, the war next door. And in terms of Turkey's security issues inside of Turkey, for example, the attacks we saw here in Ankara last week and the fighting that continues to go on in the southeast of Turkey as well, none of that can be solved. No kind of peace can prevail in Turkey unless there is a solution in Syria. So there's just as much at stake, you might say, for Turkey as there is for Syria with the cessation of hostilities that begin at midnight tonight.
All right, Natasha Exelby joining us live from Ankara. We thank you for that.